Hi everyone, Big Mac here. Welcome back to our next part of Let's Play Yoshi's Story. So we are now in World 5, where we are going to encounter lots and lots of jellyfish. So, of course, let's get started. Again, I'm not sure what world you may have come from, so of course everybody's Yoshi count may be different, but let's go ahead and get started with Stage 5-1. One thing that you may have seen before, maybe not, is in fact if you ground pound, any Shy Guys that are in the area will change color. Of course, what color they are will determine how much health you gain back from them if they are the same color as you are. Or, you know, if you're like red for the pink Yoshi and blue for the light blue Yoshi, then you'll actually get more energy as a result of eating them up. I don't think that same policy applies for just stomping on them. I'm not 100% sure on that though. But anyway, now here in World 5-1, or World 5 in general, we're going to have a lot of swimming levels. So the actual swimming mechanic is very straightforward. All you just have to do is rotate around on the control stick. There's no need to be pressing A or B repeatedly or anything else like that. So, in that sense, it is very nice, simple controls. You know, Yoshi just has to swim around. Yoshi doesn't have to worry about, you know, running out of air or anything else like that. Although in this particular stage, Yoshi does have to deal with these very annoying jellyfish. However, Yoshi has already found one of the giant happy hearts. And indeed, we'll be finding another one of these giant happy hearts very soon. But, of course, one thing you may have noticed that has been going on in this video is I've already eaten a couple of melons, and yet there's nothing indicating that I've eaten any of these melons so far. I accidentally turned off the feature that indicates that shows you how many fruits you have eaten so far and which fruits they are. You can actually turn this on and off by pressing the Z button. So if you want to just turn it off, you know, that way it gets out, you know, it gets it out of the way. You don't have to worry about looking at the pictures of the fruits. Or maybe they're just getting in the way. You can just press the Z button and they'll disappear. Of course, you may want to keep it on track just to remind yourself of how many melons you've eaten so far. You know, if you're trying to keep track of how many you've had so far, you may want to, you know, just keep a gauge of how many you've eaten so far. Of course, right here in this section, we found a lot of awesome things. There was a happy heart, actually, or a little happy heart, inside one of the jellyfish. It was the one that was actually moving around in different directions. I don't know if you guys were able to see that or not. But in fact, some of these jellyfish, particularly the ones that move around freely, not the ones that go up and down too much, but of the ones that move around freely, they often carry some kind of fruit or, you know, even a happy heart in this situation with them. So keep an eye out for that. Although again, it may be a little difficult to actually collect the item that is inside that particular jellyfish. One thing I do want to show off right now is there's a pipe up here at the top of the screen. Where does that pipe lead to? I'll let you guys find that out for yourselves. In this section, there are actually a lot of coins that you can use, that you can swim around. I was going to say run around, but you're not really running underwater, you're just swimming underwater. You can actually swim around this section and find a lot of coins to collect. Like I mentioned before, there are a lot of these jellyfish that have different fruits inside of them, so if you want to use some of those to add up to your total, by all means, go ahead. Now, in this room, we actually encounter something a little bit different. We actually have an enemy in here that we cannot defeat. We have this elephant-eared pokey guy. I don't know what you want to call him. Ella Pokey. Not really sure. But anyways, he will actually spin around or, you know, swim around and try to attack Yoshi. The nose itself doesn't do anything. It's more the spikes on the sides that are more harmful to Yoshi. But so basically, one thing that Yoshi can do is try to avoid getting hit by this long eel snake type thingy, because it's so long that it has to like loop around itself just to get just to change its direction. So of course it is trying to follow Yoshi, but Yoshi has the advantage of being very swift and maneuverable. So indeed, we can actually just wait in the middle of this creature, and then we can head back out. This room is special because, one, there are the Cheep Cheeps, and then secondly, if you collect all of the hearts, you will actually, or sorry, all of the heart coins, you will unlock 4 melons. So, of course, it's weird that you're eating the cheap sheeps and then you're spitting eggs at them because you're underwater, you can't throw the eggs or anything else like that. So they actually will come into play a little bit later. So do make sure that you go ahead and grab the cheap sheeps, you may need them for later. We are introducing to one of the final rooms of this section. There's actually a lot of different things. This is a pretty big room. So even though it is like the last major room, there's still plenty of stuff to do in here. So there's a number of new enemies, including the Shy Guys in submarines, which I just think is like, that's a kind of really cool looking enemy. Of course, the Shy Guys can fly through the rocks, so that does make it a little harder to avoid them as well. However, in this situation, we have been exploring all the different corners and crevices of this particular underwater level, and indeed we've already found all 3 of our happy hearts. So this is actually going to segue us into a major room of this level that's actually above ground again. So even though this is an underwater stage, there are sections of it that are above the ground, or that are above the water. I mean, we started this level above water. So in fact, here is Miss Warp number 3. Where was Miss Warp number 2? Anyway, to collect as many melons as possible in this minigame, the idea is to jump as far as you can. Of course, you want to try and get up as high as possible, and I'll be honest, I am no good at this game. This is the best I've ever been able to do at that particular minigame is 3. So, of course, you can get up to 7 if you're really good at this. So I did miss out on a lot of melons in this situation right here. However, I did have enough in a row so that I could still collect the happy heart. And I do want to emphasize over here at the very end of this lane is the letter T. So in fact, if you're keeping track of all the letters that pop up in this game, there's our letter for stage 5-1. And in fact, we also found a white Shy Guy, which again may or may not appear depending on how well you've kept track of your other Yoshis throughout the game. So we come along these weird sea cucumber anemone type creatures, the little pokey things on the side, kind of like corals, but they're swimming around, snaking around. I don't know, they look really cool looking. Of course, they look kind of like little fingers anyway. So after we get through those guys, we actually just have to do a little bit of maneuvering. There are plenty of fruits in this area, but not too many melons. When we finally come across this pipe at the very end of the row. So we are once again above the water, above ground. There are plenty of Shy Guys in the background. It looks like a couple of them had melons. So in fact, now is the time to use those eggs that you collected in that room with the giant eel, the yellow pokey. And in fact, 2 Shy Guys do have melons, so if you can shoot them down, grab the melons. I believe you have to get them on the first try. Here I just took Miss Warp back instead of the pots to get back to the beginning of the stage. Just because, really, no real reason at all. However, we have now made our way completely around the stage. We have all 3 of our happy hearts. So now, again, we missed a couple of melons along the way, particularly in that mini game where you had to try and use your flutter to stay in the air for as long as possible. I'm no good at that game. So here we can just quickly swim around, grab a couple more fruits, and we will be done with this level. And after this level, in fact, we will of course be going to the final stage. Again, here's the score if you're trying to keep track of that. Of course, if you're, depending on the route you've taken, this cumulative score may or may not mean anything to you, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And again, I've still been practicing this game myself as well, so my best score is not that super great, obviously. So let's read from the book. To go any farther, the Yoshis had to brave the ocean. They jumped in. They liked to swim, but the jellyfish's sting spoiled their fun. So they swam to dry land. Now they were almost to the end of the book. The page turned, and the Yoshis grew happier. So in fact, we will be coming across our first, again depending on how what your sequence is, we'll be coming across the final stage in this particular playthrough. So meet me up next time when we tackle off page 6, the finale. This is Big Mac by Joe. It's saying thank you guys so much for watching. Choose your next stage. Later.